All right, and we're live, and I'm making noise on my phone. Welcome, everybody. It's the Metal Lab. It's been a while since we've had a full house, and here we are with a full house, ladies and gentlemen. I am joined this week by Mr. Tom Kerr.
Cheers, everyone. Good evening.
Mr. Michael Payne.
Slanja.
Mr. Jay Solomon.
Time.
And I'm, of course, Jason Collins. So welcome to the Metal Lab, guys. It's great to be here. We took a week off because Canadian Nationals is always a rough time around, and we couldn't do it on the Sunday, and then something came up on the Monday. The holiday Monday was a long weekend, so other than my talking to Adam Cole, this is going to be our first chance to share our experiences with the Canadian Nationals, and I'm going to let Jay go first because Jay judged.
Okay, this is going to be the shortest one ever. I judged. I think I did an okay job from what I've heard of feedback. So not really that many funky questions. There were some standard things that I did not know before that I learned, like the fact that if you have two characters next to a character that we knocked back on a diagonal, it wouldn't actually stop it, I learned. But otherwise, not much in the crazy difficult rulings. Outside of the whole defenders chaining back and forth and how the trait pluses work and that's a headache and a half. But otherwise, it went pretty well. And I even managed to get some games in. It was fun. Good weekend all around.
Oh, that's good to hear. All right. Mr. Tom Kerr, how did you do at Canadian Nationals? Tell us your story.
Well, I guess I can give you the Coles Notes version. I hadn't
for our American fans, that's the Cliff's Notes.
Okay, fair.
Cliff Notes, yes.
Carry on.
I hadn't pre-qualified for Canadian Nationals, and so I had to do the grinding of sealed. I'm just going to do occasional pauses to make sure you can still hear me. Good. And so, I participated in the sealed. I did both grinders on the, whatever that was, Saturday, I guess it was, in hopes of trying to get through. In the first one, I didn't do terribly well. I went 1 and 2. I didn't pull a great team, and admittedly, I didn't play the team that I pulled particularly well either. It was a little thrown together of rares and commons and uncommons, consisting of a green Hulk and a 30-point Hawkeye and vulnerable invincible vision standing next to a purple man and a little wasp flying around shooting people. It was fun, but it wasn't terribly effective. And I, having not played much of the set myself, then I wasn't as ready for it as I could have been. So didn't do terribly well in the morning. Then we went out for lunch for some super good crispy beef. Real,
Oh yeah, Haka wow.
Yeah, real good. And then came back, did better in the evening. I went, I believe I went 2 and 1. Yes, I went 2 and 1 in the evening one. I had pulled the SR Doctor Strange, the one holding the axe, and with the open booked and closed book and all kinds of complicated, cool stuff like that. Earth's Guardian, you might say. Since that's what he's called, and he backstopped a team. I was also able to get the exploit weakness Elektra, as well as a Daredevil there to borrow the Mystics team ability from him, and an Iron Man to do some shooting, just a common Iron Man. And so that team was a nice little combination of get people up and get a couple of Mystics characters up in your face, so that if you attack them, then you take the feedback. If you don't attack them, they'll attack you. And then the rest of the team is standing back shooting, and Doctor Strange is just trying to survive long enough to get up to -4 so he can just start re-rolling like a madman. And it went well. I mean, it was the first game was a fairly balanced one with it, and then I had a second round where I had some really bad rolls, and then I had a third game where I had some desperately good rolls. So it was a little bit of good management and not an awful lot of good luck, but I was able to score enough points to make it into day 2. So I got into the day 2 where I went also I think 1 and 2 in the morning, so I didn't make the cut to top 8. And then I played in the afternoon tournament. Everybody who didn't make it or didn't make the cut got to play in the consolation prize tournament, and I went 3-0 in the consolation prize tournament, including 2 of the victories I got in the consolation prize tournament were against people I'd lost to in the morning. A big part of the reason being that I didn't fully realize until I talked to Jason exactly how the PIM Pocket Tank actually worked. It's already unbelievable, but it's even more than I thought it was, since you can not only hit somebody, but then as long as one of the squares that you place it in is adjacent to the guy you hit, you can still totally plop it on top of the guy you hit and kill him off. So in both games, I feel like that would have been, in the morning, would have been really instrumental, since in the afternoon I basically did exactly the same thing, but with the extra PIM damage, was able to, in one point, kill off a Mixie that otherwise I just weakened, and then in another game, kill off a Ranetilli that otherwise I just weakened. And in both cases, those were fairly linchpin moves, which were able to get me the victory in the afternoon and the losses in the morning. So, yeah, kind of. I guess I maybe should mention that I was playing a very George Masu-ish team, thanks to Jay, who informed me of a better option, because I was going to play a Lex Luthor at 200 points with dupe and a round table, and instead, since the ruling on the Pin Pocket Tank was that you could get that onto a theme team without breaking theme, switched out dupe for Atomica, went with the Justice League New 52 ATA at Jay's suggestion, and was able to get the Pocket Tank on there without sacrificing places on the round table. So could have done better, did moderately well, and I had a good time. So that's my Cliff Notes version. I had an enjoyable little time. I probably would have been kicking myself had I traveled a long way to make some fairly obvious mistakes, but I haven't been playing that much recently. And to be fair, when it's in your hometown, the pressure's kind of off. So I was just happy to be there.
All right, awesome. Mike.
Well, let me just share screen for a second here, just so I can show you my. Well, first of all, actually, I'll go through day one, because I had pre-qualified, which is an unusual thing for me, and I didn't have to play at all. And that was kind of weird because the venue was very close to my house. I could have walked to it. I was housing Adam Cole, the big winner, and we made our way there. We both pre-qualified, so we ended up playing some Battle Royals. We played a Battle Royal. I'm not that into Battle Royals, first of all, so I don't really play them that hard. We played with Kenny Pena and Kenji as well. That was our first Battle Royal of the day. We ended up doing 4 or 5 of them, and I placed moderately throughout pretty much all of them. Pulled some okay stuff. Ended up with some new con exclusives out of it. Of course, bought all of the purchasables, except for the ones that I already had, which was Ant-Man and the Red Hulk one. Excuse me. After that, I just tried to keep an eye on these fellas and see how they were doing. And it was kind of a weird experience because the venue itself, as I said, is close to my current home, but it's actually 2 blocks from where I grew up. So there's all these flashbacks of childhood while I'm playing some Heroclix in the ye old Legion Hall there. The filthy Legion Hall. It was filthy. Some great food around, so ended up showing some people around a little bit, and had a great first day. Going into day 2, I was feeling pretty good about my team. I wasn't feeling exceptionally good about what I had to play, but knowing the meta the way it is, I kind of felt the urge. If I wanted to win, got to play some of this stuff. So I played what was familiar. As you can see here. There you go. So green. It was my Felix Faust-Jakim team, but instead of having a Possessor, I put Green Lantern on it. Also, no ID cards because it ended up being 300, even with the Pandora's Box and 2 relics, which is 20 points in and of itself. Green Lantern covers a lot of, or solved a lot of problems as well with Barrier, and so my main concern was playing against Krang because of my own poor record against it, and I believe that this team solved those issues just with Barrier alone. I had very little problem defeating my first opponent, although I only took, I think, 140 points in my first game versus Nick Peterson. Oh my God! So get this. I sit down for round 1. It's me, Nick Peterson. Nick Peterson is the first Canadian winner. A little intimidating. Am I right? Kenji Yes. and Kenny. That's the third-year winner and the second-year winner right there. So it was the table of winners in the regional champion, I guess, you know.
And Mike Payne.
Yeah, and Mike Payne. That's right. I am the regional champ. But yeah, it was a little bit intimidating just sitting there, but it was great to play against Nick. And Nick's a really nice guy. He's pretty easygoing. And what was he playing? I'm trying to remember. Do you guys remember what he was playing? Did anybody else play against him?
Oh, I didn't play against Nick. No.
No.
I remember. I can tell you.
It was Devil Dinosaur with Penguin, the one that produces little penguin pogs. Round table team, obviously trying to generate those pogs like what Tom's so good at with his Mary Marvel team originally, and then his past-based team with Zatara and Devil Dinosaur and Jean Grey. Excuse me. What else did he have on that team? I'm trying to remember. Oh yeah, and Felix Faust, of course. I ended up taking out everything except for Devil Dinosaur and the Penguin. Which put me ahead, and rather than going to town and trying to whittle my way through Devil Dinosaur, advancing his dial on the round table, which ultimately would have been very bad for me, I decided to run. I think it was a good choice. He said at the end, he's like, you should have taken the Penguin and then run. And I said, I didn't want to risk it, and I didn't have to. So, yeah, I took that game fairly easily. And then in round 2, I had a full clear against a gentleman from British Columbia. I can't remember his name. But he was playing, I think it was Ice. I don't remember exactly. Yeah, it was a Iceman team with a Shredder clone, without Ocean's Resurrection. But, with that -2, it's actually really good. I ended up doing this interesting move. I won map roll, so we were on the WizKid's office. And, I'm barriering up, just trying to get him a little bit closer so that I can actually go to town and destroy him without him being able to get at me. And I ended up taking Pulse Wave and Running Shot. Actually, I rolled Running Shot with Pandora's Box. I took Pulse Wave, Running Shot from Pandora's Box, along with Outwit. And I outwit ESD on Shredder clone, shot him with Felix Faust, and then I finished him off with a Pulse Wave that I was able to single target with. And then he was basically on tilt, and I generally just picked him apart from there. Round 3, I played against Patricia Lamb, very good Canadian player. Lives in the States, but she's still Canadian. Damn it.
Still Canadian to me, damn it.
Still Canadian to me, and it was a mirror match. She's
still Canadian to her too.
Yeah, she was playing pretty much what I played at the WKO in Whitby, which was my team except without Green Lantern, and had the other Possessor on Felix Faust, but she also had the mini tank. So very good team in general. I decided to go aggressive, and because I felt confident that I would get enough points to be able to advance, even if I didn't win that round. And I single target Pulse Wave Jakeem. She retaliated, took out my Jakeem, but I managed to take out most of her team before I went down. I took, I think it was 225 points in that round. Lost that round. She managed to go on to top 8, and I managed to squeak in. I was number 8 going into top 8. Now, in the top 8, we had 5 Canadians along with 3 Americans, including Adam Cole, Kenji, and Kenny Pena. And, a semi-American, as I mentioned earlier, which is Patricia. No, she's very Canadian.
She's totally Canadian.
All right, she's a Canadian.
She's
lives
both.
there.
Who cares?
She just lives there. It's all right. And so I ended up facing my roommate for the weekend, which was Adam Cole, in the first round on camera. And it was a real squeaker. He managed to edge me out by, I think it was 60 points he had on top of me, and I would have taken that out. I would have taken out Shuma had I had pretty much one more turn. So yeah, very close match. I'm happy to have lost to him out of the Americans that came, because he is very, very pro-Canadian, and he is our Lord and Master right now. So I shall not say anything.
Oh, don't feed that nonsense.
Did he wear a crown on the show the other day?
If he did, I wouldn't have been shocked. And he made so many people in the comments section angry.
He told me.
I can't believe how many people are taking him seriously.
Oh,
it's really killing me.
It's totally tongue-in-cheek. This is just what Adam is like. He's a wacky guy. And he asked me via Messenger before he did the show the other day whether he should wear a belt or a crown. And I said a crown, and it has to have a ruby red maple leaf right in the middle. it really would have been my fault. But that being said, it was a great time. I felt good about the way I played pretty much the entire time. I made some mistakes, sure, but it was still a great nationals. It was actually my best placement in our nationals so far, so I'm pretty happy I came 8th.
Awesome. Myself, I had a pretty good run on the sealed for the qualifiers. I, of course, didn't qualify through any WKOs. I was on the bubble of all of them, to say the least. The one we went to in Ottawa, I think it was top 2 got it because there were 16 people, and I think I made the top 4 somewhere. So that was a little annoying. And then the one in Whitby, the top 8 got it because you had already won one, Mike, and I was 9th. So
oh, bubble. Oh, that bubble.
Outside the bubble perpetually. So I had to do the sealed. And one thing I got to note is I really love this set for sealed, the Avengers Defenders War, because it is a good sealed set. And the reason I know it's a good sealed set is everybody's complaining about their teams, and that's how sealed everybody should be complaining and trying to work around a group of junk. I pulled 10 out of the 10 figures that I pulled in my 2 packs. I put aside 2, and they were a swordsman and not even a hand ninja. It was an Atlantean warrior. Ended up having, though, to my advantage, the leadership wasp and the Captain America, the common Captain America. Both leaderships, of course, will help my 8-figure team keep on flowing. The Captain America with a 4, 5, or 6 on leadership, and the wasp just having amazing leadership. First game was against Trevor Versaire. We played a fantastic game and noticed that the judges were very enthusiastic about being judges because the table next to myself and Trevor had a lot of questions, and we also had a lot of judges answering those questions. You guys were enthusiastic. I love it, but for the love of God, play zone defense. I managed to squeak out the game on Adam and Trevor, mostly because the actions I had on my team were very overwhelming. I could miss a lot of attacks, but that's okay because I was making a lot of attacks with my teams, and there was enough indomitable willpower and whatnot rolling through my team. I don't think I had. This is one of the few times I didn't have the rare Doctor Strange working with me, but my rares were Hellcat and Jessica Jones. So if anybody happened to have leadership and I need to get around that somehow, it was not an issue. And if Jessica Jones happened to make attack, I had prob for her. But the Empower from Hellcat went a long way with my team because I also had the 80-point Hulk. And, just like, I'm just going to throw figures names out. Eventually, you're just going to understand that there was 8 figures on my team, and I'm not going to remember them all off the top of my head. I know there's a hand ninja as well. So I actually at some points had 2 Empowers working for me, which was awesome. And one of the visions. It was I think it was hard vision, not soft vision. Second round was up against Drake Conrad, and Drake Conrad has this thing where every time I'm playing in sealed with him, and I turn to him and either have to face him or see him beforehand, I tell him the figure he's going to pull that's really good in the sealed. You know what figure's really good in the sealed? Man Thing. Guess what he pulled? Man Thing. Now, it wasn't for a lack of attempt. Man Thing is a tough figure to get through, but I had quite a few chances to get through that 19 defense, and I just couldn't get the rules to stick. So unfortunately, I was able to score quite a few points from him, but not enough to win. So I was 1-1 going into the final round. And then in the third round, I was up against Mike White, who we've seen on the show. He's a friend of all of ours and a great player. But unfortunately, me and Mike White were stuck in a situation. Both of us were 1-1. One of us had to sweep. And the game started a little slow. And we both kind of looked at it and said, the winner of this to get 2 constructed has to win handedly. And then we went full aggro against each other. And because of my numbers, I was able to outnumber him to the point he had that gray uncommon Hulk, the one that if he gets 5 angry tokens, disappears off the board or gets KO'd.
Yeah.
I triggered that.
Yeah. It happens a lot, actually.
It's not that hard to do it.
Well, it's not that hard if you focus it. You don't have to hit it, right? You do have to focus on it, but you also have to understand that you're focusing on 75 points of figures, right? That's the trade-off. It's like, yeah, I got it off. It's like, oh, wait, there's another 200 and 125, 175 points worth of figures still to deal with, right? There's a lot still going on. The math off the top of my head is
225.
225. There we go. Still another 225 points you got to deal with when you're just focusing that 75 points. That 75 points can do 6 damage with a heavy object.
Yeah,
So
it's crazy.
It's a double-edged sword. Anyway, either way, I did manage to squeak the sweep on Mike. He played the best that he could, and the numbers game played to my advantage. He also missed quite a few attacks that were, potentially game-changing. I just patiently moved my zombie horde, as we'll call it, towards his team and just engulfed the best that I could. And that's really the best way my team could run. So I was 2-1 with enough points to get me into the top 8, which got me into the next day. So it was Battle Royales from there. And if you were in the room with Battle Royales, you knew I was Battle Royale, because that's how I Battle Royale.
You're kind of loud.
If you're in the building, you know I'm Battle Royaling. I'm the table that's laughing their asses off, to say the least. So overall, Canadian Nationals was a lot of fun. The judge team did a fantastic job. Oh, sorry. In the constructed, I did exactly as I expected, guys. I lost with a team that I've been talking about for a month. And if I was to go back and do it again, I'm not going to lock in my team so soon, so early, especially in a meta as set as it is. But I get very stubborn in a very solved meta, to say the least. When there's like 2, maybe 3 teams, if you include the Shumagrath, that are playable ultimately. So I get this way, and maybe next time I will just fold and play what's expected. We'll see. Again, tons of fun, lots of a great time at the venue. I do plan on sending some suggestions to WizKids based on it, and it's nothing negative. The event was really well run. It was great to have it in Toronto. Quite a few people showed up. I just felt for the Dice Masters players, because the unfortunate fact
that's pretty rough.
Heart of Magica runs a fantastic Dice Masters community. Toronto area has a fantastic Heroclix community, but where Heroclix kind of suffers in Ottawa, Dice Masters suffers in Toronto. I think it's time to split the 2 tournaments. I appreciate WizKids is trying to say this is the WizKids National Championships, because you got the hiccups here. But it's time to split those 2 up, honestly, in our location. And I think
there's nothing here, really.
Games. There's nobody. Unfortunately, Toronto, as big a city as it is, Dice Masters didn't take off as well as it could have.
There's still time. Yeah.
Yeah. But honestly, I know I for a while had it going, but I tapered off because it was affecting my Heroclix game. The second I quit Dice Masters, I had the best year of Heroclix I ever had in my life. And then I got a new job, and then I've now had quite possibly the worst Heroclix year I've ever had in my life. So. All right. Babbled on about. It's a great time. But let's talk about a little bit of news now, guys. What do you think?
Let's do it.
There's been a couple of developments since our last episode, so it's time to start talking about some of these things that have come up. So what if, ladies and gentlemen, Thor came in at figure number 30, had the Asgardian and mystical keywords, but it was also under Seth's thrall. Given an adjacent friendly character with the mystical keyword and a point value of 50 points or more, a double power action that deals no pushing damage. When you do, Thor may make a close or range attack. He's got a 7 range. He's a what you see is what you get, but that power is on click 1, 2, and 6. He's got some pulse wave and psychic blast throughout the dial. And we're going to start with Jay. Jay, what do you think of what if Thor had been a thrall of Seth?
I think there's something going on here that can be taken advantage of, especially considering that delightful, exactly 50-point Doctor Strange we just got. Those values that cost. Yeah. Not that it matters, because the double power action doesn't deal pushing damage, but those values, those powers, all that stuff he's got going on, there is certainly something there. I mean, what? Let's say beginning his first attack, you make the vanilla attack, and then you can running shot pulse wave in after. Total of 7 damage in a turn. That's something you got going on there. I see some potential in his future, because that mystical keyword is always good.
All right, Tom?
Yeah, I think he's fine. Yeah. My voice cracked.
We're all hitting puberty again, kids.
Yeah, exactly. I'm off to bag groceries. I think he's cool. My voice just cracked the second time. we need more Pulse Wave that's viable, I think, at this point, because Pulse Wave is an incredibly good power, as we all know, but there aren't as many sources of it as there might be, and so it's always cool to see somebody else who's got some nice front-loaded running shot Pulse Wave and with Invincible to back it up. The fact that other Mysticals can give him actions makes up a little bit for the fact that he's lacking willpower, but I still feel the absence of willpower on a 105-point character who is only 6 clicks deep. You got to get the use out of him while he can before his attack values drop away, particularly towards the end there. And in a world where it's so easy to just kind of outwit him and peg him down to the point at which he's somewhat neutralized, he's only okay. I just feel I must say that he's one of these good examples of, if other than that damage special, if I looked at this dial and was told this is Thor, I'd be like, okay, I can buy that. Like, this is just, it feels like Thor to me. So, I mean, I feel like they could have done more with the concept, perhaps, than just that, fine but relatively modest damage power. As far as the what if thing is concerned, I wish they'd gone a little bit further with it. But all the same, as far as functionality goes, he's a decent character.
All right, Mike.
I think he's cool too.
I don't think I can add very much myself.
Nothing to add, yeah.
Yeah, except for the fact that he's got 12 attack, 5 damage against that one with that one Doctor Strange next to him. Mm-hmm. All right, next up, Daredevil. Daredevil. This one's got politics and politician keywords, and he's got a special damage power that reads Aid to Vice President Foggy. Mm-hmm. Daredevil can use Outwit. When he does, after actions resolve, he can use Perplex, but only to target the same character. He's 50 points, 5 range, and this dial to go with it. Tom, what do you think of the Daredevil politician?
He's okay. Like, certainly, I guess. What do you want for 50 points? We're almost at the point now in Heroclix where it doesn't feel like we get too many lousy characters anymore, and so this is not bad for 50 points. But it has a number of different things that I have bugbears about. One of them being the fact that his precision strike is conveniently not front-loaded. By the time his damage drops down to only 1, you're going to need that Perplex for the damage alone, which sort of makes it feel like the Perplex is a bit wasted on him. And his defenses are low enough that there could be a one-shot in his future, or at the very least, one shot that drops him to the point where he needs to slowly move towards the opponent and hope that his low defenses will hold until he can hope to deal 2 damage in his rear dial. So, Outwit followed by immediate Perplex is fine, and certainly not bad for 50 points, but I must be missing something here. What am I missing, guys?
Mike, what do you think?
Nothing.
Jay?
I could see him having a future as an ID card character, specifically because the inspiration gives improved targeting hindering, especially with Outwit being so important in the future. So having a cheap column that you can pull in if you don't roll the inspiration on the teleporter could be useful, especially with his own Outwit, theoretically. I mean, if you wanted to outwit the stealth and then get an Outwit and Perplex on, that could be not bad, I suppose. Yeah, otherwise, I don't see this guy being played competitively.
Yeah. I'm on the same boat, guys. But you know what's a little bit more fun? Daredevil, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.
At least he looks absurd.
I like his anatomy.
5 keyword. Ignores hindering for. He is level 10 shield agent. He also has the Matt Murdock keyword, which makes him also good on the Daredevil key ID card if you need. He's got the shield team ability. His shield level 10, level 10 shield agent. Sorry. Daredevil, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., and friendly characters within 3 squares are considered adjacent to each other for the purposes of the S.H.I.E.L.D. team ability. He's also got a special movement power. Daredevil, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. can use running shot, sidestep, and stealth. He is 60 points. He's got that power on his first 3 clicks, 5 clicks of health. Mike, thoughts on Daredevil, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Better than the other Daredevil. I think he's usable. Once again, a call-in because he has the real name Matt Murdock. I'm sure that would work. And let's see here. I like that he's the kingpin of the S.H.I.E.L.D. team ability. That's kind of cool. Except with way less range. That's not within 8. It's within 3. And, he's got a swing of 11 pretty much with that S.H.I.E.L.D. team ability thing going on. running shot, sidestep, and stealth. Oh, actually, more like 13
I was
with
gonna
the
say,
sidestep there. Yeah, yeah, he's all right.
all right, Jay.
I think he can be ridiculously good level 7 Colin, because that gives shield, so suddenly, regardless of how your formation is, you have, +3 to range on that character, as well as potential for the damage bump with it. So suppose you have a Henry sitting there doing nothing, you could potentially have him give that character +2 damage.
Yeah, there you go.
That could be pretty decent. He's not a bad attacker either, although I see him also having a mostly ID card option, and that is the goofiest sculpt I've ever seen in this game.
The anatomy just doesn't work.
It's almost enraging. It's almost enraging that the comp panel is right there, because that's accurate, but oh my god,
It's exactly.
How?
I was gonna say, you're going to have to blame the comic panel on this one, guys, because it's the exact same thing.
Fair.
Tom, anything you want to add?
Just that I kind of like the idea that between sidestep, running shot, and range, he should be able to have a big enough swing that he could potentially lead the attack in the first turn. And it's kind of cool that if he pushes to use the shield team ability for damage, he drops himself onto perplex, so he can immediately use that to further boost somebody up while they're busy doing shield things. So that could be a cool little unexpected twist on things that your opponent may not see coming. Otherwise, I agree with you guys.
Yeah, I like him a lot. And I think I'm just kind of using my life counter on the Dice Masters mat because it's useless anyway. I think you get a 15 squares reach if you can get 3 shield guys near you.
Yes.
Because you include the sidestep, then the 4 square running shot. You're not stopped by hindering terrain. Plus you have 6 range plus another 3 from local shield guys. You can get some big reach out of this guy.
I also like that he's a Colin that can jump off the map all on his own if you really want to call that in. Maybe 10 and 3 is not the best, but...
Well, I do like call-ins with sidestep for that reason.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of big reach and big... Oh, jeez. Let's talk about the Goblin King.
Oh, my, oh, my.
What if
hi, Jakeem.
What if the Green Goblin got the Infinity Gauntlet? The Goblin King has Dark Avengers, Monster, and Ruler keywords. He's got a trait. He's Norman Osborn. Real name, I don't think is really going to factor in on this one. First trait, force you to relive your worst nightmare. When an opposing character misses Goblin King with an attack after action is resolved, give that character a Nightmare token. Characters with a Nightmare token modify their attack values by -1. When a character with a Nightmare token makes an attack after action is resolved, remove 1 Nightmare token from that character. So you're not going to be able to accumulate these things. Every time you make an attack, you take it off. So even if you attack Goblin King, miss him again, you take 1 off, put 1 back on. That's kind of why that's worded that way, folks, just in case you're wondering about it. It's just their way of preventing you from having more than 1, so you don't have to ask if he has more than 1. Then he's got the Infinity Gauntlet trait. Give Goblin King a free action and choose 2 standard powers. Goblin King can use the chosen powers until he chooses again. He can be played at 275 points with 10 clicks of health. He can be played at 175 points with 3 less than that. Or he can be played at 75 points with 4 clicks of health. Oh, Jay. Your thoughts on the King of the Goblins?
Oh my god, this again?
Yeah, I know.
Is this just going to be a thing every set now?
Sorry, I missed something. He is Paracosmic. Carry on.
Okay, so we have Jakeem, better power. He can pick better powers. He can also use powers, then he can switch them up if he wants because of how it's worded until he chooses again. He has less range, but that's whatever. JSA doesn't really matter that much. The trait's pretty cool, too. Arguably better keywords with Monster because of Berserk and Arrow sharing that.
Mystical? I don't know. Better?
I don't know.
Mystical's kind of...
I'm hoping that Faust gets errata to be not, a problem anymore, so I'm hoping that Mystical takes a hit that way. And then, that whole... Remember how everybody was saying, hey, guys, I went runes Jakeem? Remember that?
Yeah.
No.
It's not like it does anyway, but...
It affected him, but this guy's just like, no, I'm okay. No, thanks. Oh, and he's easier to get. It was kind of like how we were saying that Iron Man, the Super Iron Man was Jakeem, but cheaper, but this guy is Jakeem but cheaper and better. So literally everybody should be able to get him. Yeah.
I don't know. Tom seems to be making faces, and it's your turn, Tom. What do you think?
Well, I agree with almost everything you've said, except like if we're doing a head-to-head comparison with Jakeem, I think that Jakeem, you shouldn't undersell Jakeem for only 100 and what is it, 40, 135? Which one is it?
Yeah, 140.
For only 140 points, he has a deeper dial than the 175 one. Perfectly good stats. He has his own regeneration so that he can choose a different power if he wants it. He has prop for longer, well, again, I can't overstress the fact that he's cheaper, and I would argue mystical is a better keyword. So it's hard to compare them on a one-to-one basis. I'm not saying that Jakeem's better. I'm just saying that an argument I think could be made either way. But I think that Goblin King is crazy good. No question about that. We all know why.
Mike, what do you think? Mike?
Why do they make the same character twice, man? Like, why do they got to do that?
3 times, actually, if you want to get
Yeah,
to.
really.
Well, partly because of Jay's point that I don't have a Jakeem, so this is good.
You will definitely have a Goblin King being an SR. Yeah, it's just like there's not. You guys have kind of said it all. It's a crazy good piece that really wrecks the new Outwit when it gets introduced. Because of Power Cosmic. I mean, come on. What are you going to play him at? Oh, 275? No. 175? Yes.
Yes.
Jesus. All right, I'm done.
I do also want to point out is because of the timing on the Goblin King versus the timing on Jakeem Thunder, there's a little bit more flexibility in his power choice.
Yeah, that's what Jay was saying before.
Yeah, I just want to kind of stress that for those who might be listening not understand what he's saying. You take a free action on turn 1, give Goblin King a bunch of powers or a pair of powers that you want to use. Let's say you choose a little bit more offensively on turn 1.
Just up pulse wave.
Hypothetical. Let's say you choose shot pulse wave. Come to the next turn 2, turn 4, whatever, that you decide to use those powers, then you can revert as a free action to 2 more defensively focused powers. So you've got an offense and defense out of it. Whereas Jakeem Thunder, beginning of every turn, you have to choose the powers you're going to be linked to.
So on turn 2, you running shot pulse wave, then you pick shape change and super senses and use those.
Yeah. So also worth noting too is the Goblin King's Power Cosmic not only makes him outwit proof, but also gives him the willpower that Jakeem kind of lacks. So this is why a lot of people are really nuts on the Goblin King. Plus the fact that you can choose a bunch of powers that make your attacks miss this guy, and then you've got -1 attack from the Nightmare tokens against your entire team. So
BANANAS.
Yeah, he's.
I think there's one more point to be made. As far as the differences, the free action part of him could be a big difference. Because that guy Felix Faust, where he says you can't play the game.
Yeah, that's true.
So if he says no, you can't do the action, he's kind of in a bit of a pickle there. Whereas Jakeem is a
it's not an
non-action
thing that happens.
pick.
Yeah.
Any other if they start releasing more characters that have like restrict your numbers of actions or types of actions, it's true. That's another important distinction.
Right now, it doesn't matter for the Rock because no Faust there, but it will matter for WizKids events because Faust is still a thing there. So,
but for the most part, you've chosen the powers ahead of time that you need anyway. And plus, if you've already chosen, you don't have to choose new again. It's not, you don't lose them until you choose again.
Well, fair, but there's a lot of reasons to want to change your power choice.
There is, but for the most part, it's less affecting than it sounds like in that point too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, potentially.
So, I don't think he kicks out Jakeem from the meta like some people have been saying automatically.
No. It's another option to do similar things.
I know for myself, I will if they're almost the same basically, given the point cost difference or whatever. I know that I would rather just play Jakeem because I like the character over this guy. So you'll see me playing him till the end. But
again, differences in cost, differences in keywords can be a pretty big difference. So
but I think both are going to be parts of a meta that's about to lose Krang.
Yeah.
Because and we don't lose Krang, we lose Justin Saferd. Krang is still there. If you can find a way to make Krang work, by all means, do it. Heck, I'm trying to do things with Bebop and Rocksteady and the Shredder clone. Let's not kid ourselves. I'm doing stupid things.
Yeah. 3 more days till no more Justin.
Guys like these are the reason that it's a good thing that we need to have more pulse waves, like I said earlier.
Yeah, there's this is a character that is considered now. He's not kicking anybody out. Jakeem Thunder is not going anywhere, but at the same time, the Goblin King is coming there to contest, and both are good, both are great in different ways as well. So I don't think you should say, oh my gosh, Jakeem Thunder is trash now because this guy exists. That is false thinking.
Yeah.
Count. Yeah.
Goblin King exists now, but the Goblin King can also bring a prime with him. So are there primes that we should be worrying about that might be teaming up with him? I don't know. Just a thought. There's a lot of things to consider in this, and I can do a Metafix episode on it. Let's not get ourselves.
So here's an interesting question.
Yeah.
No more primes?
That seems to be the trend. Now, Avengers Defenders War had no primes, had a lot of shifting focus. What if and Elseworlds can't really be considered as part of the question because they're both small sets, and small sets generally don't come with the primes nowadays. Age of Ultron didn't, Civil War didn't, right? So, but at the same time, if Avengers Defenders War is the trend, no more primes either, right? So I don't have a problem with this necessarily because they're also introducing the title figure mechanic. And it also maximizes the number of figures that you can play with. But I did, like you, Mike, really enjoy primes and like the idea of letting the designers go nuts with a figure that you're only allowed to be having one of that type on a team. It's okay. It's okay, Mike. It's okay. Somebody give him a hug. Megan, give him a hug.
Give me a hug. Give me a hug. Give me a hug. Oh, she's busy. She's doing the dishes.
It's okay. I don't let her.
This is the proper way of things.
Yeah. All right.
Cool.
So Mike has about 15 minutes, but Tom did have a debate topic. So Tom, we got time.
All right.
We squeezed it in.
All right, we do. So first of all, who are going to be our debaters for today? Because I got
master debaters. Now debates don't take long enough, but Mike does have to head out at 11:30. So we're gonna have Mike and Jay do it this week.
All right.
Oh yeah, do it. Jay.
I'll be the fact checker off in the corner here.
All right.
Jay.
So here is my topic for today's Clicks debate. And for those who are new to the show or don't remember, the way the Clicks debate works is that we do 3 rounds where each of the guys here are going to try to argue one or another point in a hot button Clicks related topic. And so in this case, the way it works is that they're not necessarily going to argue their own opinion. They're going to try to argue persuasively for one side or the other. That's important to get out there, lest that you try to jump down either one of their necks for an opinion that may not be their own. But today's hot button topic on the Heroclix front is going to be the recent decision that single click figures are considered bystanders. They no longer break theme. And so this has, of course, created all kinds of different rebuttals from different people. There are those who think that this could be a great thing for the game. There are those who think that this could be a devastatingly awful thing for the game. There are those who think that this might have something to do with the fact that a very expensive PIM tank landed available for sale at right around the same time. But the fact remains, for today's purposes, we're going to start out with 90-second opening arguments, 60-second rebuttals, and the 30-second final. Yes, dude?
And we're going to define who goes first with a fair flip of the coin, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, let's do it.
And I'm going to let Jay call it in the air. Ready? Jay, call it now.
Heads.
Flipping. Tails. Mike gets go first and choose his side first.
Woo! All right. So, Mike, we're going to start with you. Before we start the timer, because actually what I think I should do is actually do 1 minute on the clock for opening, then 30-second rebuttals, and a 15-second closing statement. That's cleaner. So, which side are you going to take? Are you going to be in favor of this plan or against it?
I am definitely in favor, but I will argue against.
All right. 1 minute on the clock. We're going to start out with why is the decision to make single-click characters considered bystanders for team building purposes an absolutely abysmal, terrible, awful idea. Mike, 60 seconds on the clock. Go.
1 second. Momo, mommy. Mommy, momo. All right. Starting
And
now.
go.
All right. Well, today, let's see. The topic of choice would be, should the PIM tank specifically be available for use in a theme team without breaking theme? I say no. Definitely not. Because it has keywords. Stupid. It's that simple. That's what separates these figures from being bystanders. They are far too powerful to not obey the simple rules of regular characters. Plus, they're not flat. Yeah, they have a little base, but they're actually well sculpted, crafted pieces. Beautiful in nature. And potent offensive tools! I spat a little on myself there.
All right.
I got a little on me.
All right, there it was, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so that's a very good point. They are potent defensive tools. They are overpowered. They are delicately sculpted. And, of course, they have keywords. And what possible reason is there for them to have keywords unless it's to determine team construction? Of course, we're about to find out the reason because Jay is going to argue in the next 60 seconds for why it's a great idea that these should be considered bystanders and included on any facility in any team. How about that, Jay? How about we go on 3, 2, 1. Tell us all about it.
I guess we can say that they're very distinct from normal characters without the click click, as Scott Porter would like to say.
The no click click. Ooh, I got goob on me.
I enjoy the idea of being able to include a little monkey on every one of my teams forever, and you can't stop me. I'm going to play Henry on everything now because I find the idea delightful. Like from a rule standpoint that it clarifies the whole thing of whether or not Henry breaks theme without keywords, because the less complicated rules get in this game, the happier it makes me and anybody else who likes to judge or just have rules be clear and concise. I also like the idea of opening it up in the future for more stuff like that, where you can actually get a character designed that is a bystander but has a nice little sculpt, as you so delicately put it.
And there is 1 minute. Well, thank you very much, Jay. Now, Jay's made several good points there in favor of his argument. So, Mike, how would you rebut Jay's statements in the next 30 seconds?
Armor. Why would it be called the keyword armor? It just doesn't make any sense. I refuse to play with Tony Stark. I refuse.
No, but that would be okay because it has armor.
I know, but I refuse because it's against my principles as a human being and as a serious Heroclix player. This did not happen ever.
That's it. Well, thank you very much. Mike makes a very loud point there. How would you like to rebut Mike in the next 30 seconds? And go.
I appreciate the fact that you brought up the armor keyword specifically with that character because, as we know, I love the Toymaster from the World's Finest set.
Mike, I will ask you to behave yourself, or I will.
I hope I can, man.
Carry on, Jay. We'll put a few extra seconds on the clock.
Okay, thanks. I like the fact that for the flavor of the game, I like the flavor of the game. You can add keywords there now, so you have effects that can kick off based on keywords, like that Toymaster who I was trying to mention, who gives benefits to armor characters, so you can themey get those effects in.
Very nice. All right, we're going to finish this off with 15 seconds on the clock. I'm not sure if we'll need it. We want to unmute
I'm trying
Mike.
to unmute Mike here. Mike, unmute yourself. I think you have to do it at your end.
I didn't know it was muted.
There we go.
I muted you.
We are here.
I'm pretty loud.
With 15 seconds remaining on the clock, we have one last opportunity. Mike, what is your closing argument for why, in fact, we should not, by any circumstances, have single-click characters as bystanders? And go.
Just doesn't make sense, man. It just doesn't make sense.
Well, who needs 15 seconds when you've got 7? And Jay, what do you have to say about that? What is your closing argument? Go ahead.
I like the fact that the sculpts can be a thing that you can do now. I also like the fact that it makes other characters better, like past Golden Age figures that we will not discuss on our competitive show. But I do appreciate the fact that they're making it much more clear what these single dudes are.
That makes good sense. Well, as anyone who
Also,
knows,
loud noises. I can do it too, Mike.
yeah. As anyone knows, we don't necessarily make a decision here. Those of you listening, watching at home, enjoying this show in your own time, make your own decisions. This has been our little contribution to the argument, but let's face it, either way, it's the way things are now. We're just going to have to deal with it. But do we like it? Do we dislike it? Lots of different ways we could take on it. But thanks,
Gave myself
dudes.
asthma.
Good debating.
I just want to point out, win or lose, on either side of the argument, this ruling is living proof that the rules team and the design team have different pieces of paper that they read.
True.
Oh, boy.
Fine
Have
segment.
I ever mentioned how much I love that segment? Like my
We
favorite
love you
thing.
for it.
It's my favorite thing in the world.
It's
You're
because
my
you just,
second favorite. This is my favorite.
Mike has changed from using the debate to actually debate to using it to practice his comedy nonsense.
I wish I did that stuff. That'd be great.
I had to give you a month as a fact checker as a penalty for that crap.
What's the deal?
Yes, I was,
It's being used on theme teams, man.
Yep. That's a very
yes,
limited
I was
audience.
looking at. I was looking at the card for my Pim tank, and I noticed that somebody had used whiteout on the part about it not breaking theme, and I'm pretty sure somebody broke into my house.
They're crazy. It's like it doesn't break theme when it's on this team or any team.
Yeah, for any team for that matter, it's a bystander now.
Yeah.
Hurt my face.
Because, there's words on the cards, and the design team made a design choice. And we don't care about that. We're the rules team.
Yep. I think it's kind of LeMay personally, but to each their own.
Although, I mean, the rules team looked like they listened to us the last time we had an episode because me and Jay were talking about the map situation and the sudden map drought that we were about to run into. And then, so that was on the Sunday. And then on the Monday, all of a sudden there's a ruling where only the bad sides of the maps that are problematic are now not allowed.
Yeah. It's probably it's
don't
very
wanna-
probable that the design team was listening to the Metal Lab, and then immediately held a midnight quorum afterwards to come to a
Problem, guys, stop this. Let them play the game. We're making these things. Beating all of them in the head. All right, guys, it's time to go with the fan questions. But Mike is going to be ducking out.
Oh
So,
no,
Mike,
I can stick around. It's probably going to take us another 15 minutes to do these. So
All right.
fan questions always take like an hour.
No, let's bang. I mean,
that's all
bang
right.
through.
Stay as long as I can.
We can all
Phrasing there, Tom. Phrasing. But I do want
More
to
of me.
take a couple seconds there to remind everybody that we do have a Patreon at patreon.com/marriedwithclicks. We are reintroducing the action tokens. I'm not sure what we're going to reintroduce in the higher levels, and we're still trying to figure out new goals for the channel on that level. But so if you're a patron for the month of May, you're part of the action token program, and you're a May patron at the end of the month. And then if you come into June, you'll be a June patron from then, and we're going to be sending them to after the June patron month. So just wanted to give you guys a heads up. $10 a month gives you action token access, as well as early access to non-live shows and access to the patron hangout, which we are going to have. And I like making this up on this show every time with Amber next to me. We're going to be having the patron hangout on June the 9th. That'll be Friday, June the 9th, around 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, when we usually do it. So look forward to that if you are a patron. Right. So we start off first. Okay, so two around the same time. We'll start with Mike Bockley's because Tom has a much longer one that Jay's already engaged in. Aloha Meta members, glad to have you back after the break from Canadian Nationals. I want to say a big shout out to all of you for participating and Amber and Jay for judging. It's that final week before rotation again. So like always, what figures are you going to miss the most? What figures are you most happy to be leaving? Sorry, Tom, there wasn't the Phantom X for you to burn this time. To all my fellow Americans, happy Memorial Day weekend. And to everyone else, happy weekend. Keep on rocking and peace. What am I going to miss and what am I not going to miss? I actually don't have an answer for this right now. Tom, what are you going to miss? What are you not going to miss?
I feel like this could be a whole segment on like next week's show, but
yeah, probably.
because it is fun to spend a little bit more time digging deep. But as far as the top of my head is concerned, certainly Justin Seyfert is high on the list of things that I am not going to miss.
Oh.
He,
I already lost him, so I can't burn him.
right, yeah, I'm trying to think of who else is a heavy. I'm definitely Trinity War Batman is a huge one that I am going to miss. I absolutely love that Trinity War Batman. I'm not going to miss all the Ultron drones. I mean, part of me will, because I do think they're actually pretty fun, but given the sort of the rampant way in which they've been abused with ID cards over the years, then I'm pretty much over them. A lot of the, ironically, stuff from the Age of Ultron movie set, I liked almost everything. I loved the map in that set a lot, the Avengers Tower. I loved the Hulks. Both of them were really quite cool. The Hawkeyes were really great in that. And the Vision, what a great Vision. Sorry, I got off track there for a second. But otherwise, the Scarlet Witch was really quite good from that set as well. So those are all things I'm going to miss. There's several things from the Flash set that I'm going to miss. So yeah, in terms of what I'm not going to miss, I'm going to need to think about it a little bit more on that, because I'm a generally positive person, but I'm sure I'll have no trouble conjuring up all kinds of annoying things. And maybe we should talk a little bit more at length about this on another episode.
That was actually going to be a plan for next week's. Is we're going to send off our figures and probably do some damage to the ones that we've hated the most.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
indeed. Possibly a burial at sea.
Yeah.
Burial at sea. I was going to go burial off my balcony.
I was going to see if I can get a Wi-Fi connection out on a rowboat somewhere.
That'd be funny.
Mike, off the top of your head,
I am not going to answer this until next week. I'm sorry, Mike, but I will reserve my answer for next week.
Jay?
I prepared for this one because I wanted to give a not completely obvious answer. On the miss front, I'm going to say that because of how the new rules are going to be changing possess, can use, and all that stuff, I would have been very interested to see how competitively viable Tim Hunter could be with his whole copying possess powers, but that could be really good with Jakeem under new rules. I'm going to preemptively miss that thing that I never got to play because it didn't happen yet. I'm also for not going to miss, I'm going to actually say one that we had talked about, Tom, a while ago, which was Pandora's Box.
Fair.
Because of the basically reverse Book of the Skull thing that it does. Giving plasticity to certain characters is just obnoxious. Like I saw the 50-point Joker with it, and that was just rude.
Yeah.
The sloth healing is really dumb. Although I like that new rules changes will fix that. A little too late, but they do. As well as the fact that it just slows down the game too much, where you have to start, sitting in your starting area, setting up, and it just takes time for the game. It makes it more boring. I prefer that the resources we're going to have left are much more active, where you have to use ID cards effectively and attack with them, or you passively click the Supreme Intelligence, or you use the Punisher van weapons equipment as a free action with the Punisher, basically. So the game will go faster. You won't have turtling teams with 500 barriers hoping to unload the box. No more not fun resourciness. And that was basically the last one of the resources that was like the older style. So I'm happy to see that go for sure.
Cool. I'm going to miss telling you guys I told you so about Pandora's Box.
I think it was fairly obvious, but all right.
Man, I told you guys so. I'm going to miss Jonah Hex and the question. That's why I kept them. Jonah Hex mostly because I wanted to try him. I never did get a chance to play him. I unprofessionally left my pinging on.
Sorry.
It's all right. Thanks a lot, Mike. You big I'll look at you later, Mike. I promise. But I'm going to save more of my more in-detail stuff for next week's episode. Surprise! Next week we're going to be talking about what we're going to miss and what we're going to love seeing gone. I'm probably going to bring a hammer this time around and smash some figures on the
Fires burning, fires burning.
I'm a little bit worried about the burning plastic inside of my apartment with my kids upstairs. I just kind of want to do.
I'm not.
Although there is a year coming up with Felix Faust, I'm going to do some things to that figure. I'm going to read some chemistry books to see what I can do to plastic because, my God, next year's...
Oh, yeah.
Hydrochloric acid is in the future.
Oh, man, is that figure in trouble. All right. Next up, Thomas Casturin wants to know what Golden Age maps should be reprinted as a premium map for permanent use or close to it.
Can I go first?
Yeah, go.
Because I always say that whenever we get a question that has to do with old maps. The Junkyard from Collateral Damage. It's still my answer for the best map of the olden times, and it's one of the best maps of all time. It's just, if you don't know what it is, look it up. It's really good.
Yeah, and it's nice and generic for the premium maps, too. It's a really good call. Mike.
Krakoa, the original Krakoa.
Wow.
Terrible.
Just because it's my favorite doesn't mean I want to force that on the rest of the
So
world.
awful.
Play.
Yeah, it's really.
It's pointless. It'll be banned anyway. Who cares?
The other side isn't bad.
Yeah.
Madripoor is
Madripoor.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah, exactly.
Although I think on a remake, that would be a bunch of elevated terrain instead of blocking.
Yeah, I think so too. But like you could make it kind of cool. You could have some water on there and everything.
Maybe Ryut.
You put Ryut back in this world?
I liked Ryut.
I did too because I liked playing Banshee and Nick Fury.
Right.
Banshee, Nick Fury, Rocket Raccoon. Yeah.
Again, like Banshee's gone, and Nick Fury isn't quite as easy now in a post-Ultron drone universe.
Very true. Yeah.
You know,
And it would definitely wreck the tank, even though the tank can shoot across all of that terrain.
right.
Well, Nick would shoot it.
If you can bring a Nick out again, like you got to work towards it now a little bit more.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can we see this good? Did
Justice
anybody
Society Museum.
have to guess?
All right,
Justice
yeah.
Society.
Was that not the most obvious answer of all time?
Jason,
Especially
I don't think
considering
Justice
how-
Society-
Hey guys, I heard that Jay really likes the Justice Society.
It's such an ugly map, though. Like, I mean, I like the concept, but I don't like the
It
execution.
needs to be redone. The art on it does for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. I was also realized that we're going to lose a similar map in rotation, which is the Flash Museum, which
Right.
also has all of the HeroClix subs on it. So that would be really cool.
Mhm.
You know, even though it's not going out in the rotation, I'd love to see a Danny the Street premium.
I think a prison would be cool. You know, memories.
Oh, jeez. Memories. Yeah, Nightcrawler. Oh, hi, Nightcrawler. I'm just going to pack up now. That's you guys you go ahead and just... For me, and this is more of a personal thing that I actually don't want it to see tournament play, the classic Icons map from the set DC Icons. It was not the traditional 24 by 18 maps, I think they are now. Back then, it's a much bigger map, but it also was really great for 4-player play. There's enough distinct terrain in the midst of it to make for really interesting games. My buddies all love it. I love it for big, fun, stupid games.
I always like Latveria for that too.
The new Latveria map?
No, the old Latveria from the Fantastic Four starter. It was a 24 by 24.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I wouldn't
Oh,
mind one or two of the old 24 by 24 maps. Or heck, make something the size of the Dota map, but not with 2 stupid starting areas. I mean, I love the idea and I love the size of that map, but honestly, that's a map that needed to be 4-player.
I really like the 24 by 24 that you were just mentioning, though, along with the little pieces that you could put on top of it, so they can make a premium version of that. But you'd have to crop it really, really tightly to the edge. That would be really cool.
What was that called? I can't even remember now. But that was a cool thing. The one with the map where you actually were supposed to place the grids on top of it.
Yeah, I played it when Rocky was around, but it was way before my time. Otherwise,
Yeah, no, it was.
I don't know.
It was a cool map.
Wasn't that Mage Knight Heroes or something like that, or Mage Knight?
No, it was a HeroClix release, but it was an older one. I don't know. The fans will tell us.
Yeah,
Tell us, fans.
I don't know if they made the Yu-Gi-Oh card clicks on the Labyrinth wall, but that could have been a pretty cool concept too, where you actually have because we already have a bunch of dungeony maps, but actually having 3D terrain for that could be pretty interesting.
Several of the HeroClix maps are some of my favorite maps too. I really like the castle. I really like the graveyard and the mansion.
Yeah. All right, cool. That's Thomas's question. Next up, Christopher Smotherman.
Hey.
Obi-Wan Chris from the old days. After spending some time with the Avengers Defenders War figures, I've noticed that the shifting focus Doctor Strange will be the ultimate support piece. Awesome in so many ways. What figure or shifting focus figures from Avengers Defenders War have stood out to you guys for the last few weeks?
Good question.
Yeah, it's a good question, but on the shifting focus turn, it's definitely the Doctor Strange that highlights to me, especially once I saw Drake's team in action. Drake played a team that had the man thing alongside the shifting focus Doctor Strange, and one of which, of course, is the defense one that heals a click of damage after you've taken some damage. Well, the man thing on the third click has a stop click. So you take some damage, you heal it up after taking the damage because you got to the stop click, and guess what? You're back before your stop click. Have fun dealing with that. I think that's there's a lot of potential in that.
I agree with that 100%.
Yep.
Yeah. Anybody disagree? Or anything that stands out to you? Sorry.
Well, I wanted to just say that I've done a complete about face on the whole shifting focus, but with only 2 characters or 3 characters thing. I think I was kind of dumping on it the last time we talked about it. I thought it was a little bit disappointing that there weren't more options and all that stuff. Seeing it in action, I really don't mind. I kind of like the idea of playing a team with several different shifting focus characters and not having to worry about not having enough room on my sideline for their options. If every character has 1 or 2 different options, then yeah, it's a little bit limited, but it's better than not having it at all. And it's great. I like the double Black Panther quite a lot for that. I like the double Vision for that. I mean, what more do you want? It's 2 versions of the Vision that pretty well capture what the Vision does. So I don't know. I'm not saying that they're the most strategically viable. They might be. Nighthawk is one who surprised me a lot in this set in terms of just overall versatility and coolness. But I really like this whole limited shifting focus thing now.
Right. And before we get to Jay's answer, Mike has got to be shipping off.
I do. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night. I'll talk to you guys soon.
Good night, Mike. Thanks for being on. All right. Jay.
I am looking forward to getting some use out of the pit crew character of this set, which is the old man Steve Rogers, the Captain America super rare. Mm-hmm. He does so much, and actually has remarkably good defenses for his very low cost. I mean, what you get stealth reflex at 17 is just good. Smoke cloud even can be useful if you have the action to do it, and then the healing trait even can be useful, especially considering that we have the best medic ever in Modern right now. So if you want to break theme, yeah, I'm sure there's other good ways to get support, like, I don't know, Tony Zuko, you know that guy. So just pop him on your team, and then you suddenly have all the token removal. And then the Away Perplex for the points is good. And the 200-point leadership, if you don't happen to have theme, yeah, sure, that's pretty good. Especially considering you could theoretically better suited him on your team, because he exactly fits the qualifications for the shield level 7. So if you happen to be playing a non-round table and have more than 1 level 7, you can get him on your team to pull tokens off of. I can't think of anything that's really in the meta right now that he wouldn't be able to pull tokens off of.
Awesome. The Brainiac Skull ship?
I was gonna no. As much as I would love for that to be true, no.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can pull tokens off of literally anybody in the competitive scene between the new leadership change and that. So yeah, that's gonna be good.
Damn.
All right. Next up, McConnell Lamar, Ed Arnold Verkowitz, and Alex Avila are great players. I think you'd be great to have you guys if you guys interviewed them on the new rules and their thoughts on the current state of the game. Honestly, I've tried having multiple interviews and everything like that. Interviews are usually hard to arrange. And Alex Avila was a hard guy for me to try to get in touch with. I don't even think I've had him on the show yet. I do still owe Ed Champ Chat from Rock Worlds last year, but my schedule got really stupid around the time that he had won because, job changes and stuff like that. So unfortunately, I couldn't line it up with him. So I do owe him that. And I'm sure if I was to talk to Champ about him with Champ Chat, I'd get future state of the game. But, it's not that we're chasing down. We're not constantly looking for people to interview. That's we have a lot of good heads on the show. Champ Chat's generally where we focus our interviews, though, and it's really hard to chase people down. That's really the truth of it. The whole matter. In fact, I used to get Jay to do it all the time for me, and I might have to get him to do it for me again sometime. We'll see. Jay, go chase people for me. I have no time for this. And it's not to dismiss Alex Avila is a world champion in the past.
Yes.
Ed Berkowitz just won Rock World Cup this past summer. So really, it's not that I don't value their opinion. Their opinions are very great. It's just a matter of arranging these interviews. Sometimes it's not 100% of the time, all the time. And if they're not on, like, honestly, Facebook is where my social media happens, right? And I've caught Ed a couple times. I just have to kind of catch him again when I've got the laser focus to get his attention. I'm thinking of arranging a roundtable before Worlds, just to kind of get some opinions ahead of time. It will depend on a number of factors. So that's kind of the crux of that is value their opinions. If their opinions are out there, let me know if they've been on. I think Ed was actually recently on a podcast, the Critical Clicks, if I remember correctly. And,
Yep.
Right there, go to Critical Clicks, get that opinion, guys. I'm happy to let somebody else do that kind of interviewing for us because it's really hard to handle the show that we have right now and the way that we present things. So that's my half-butted answer on this. Sorry, you're not going to get a full excuse out of me as to why. But honestly, it's just getting the right forum and the right place to interview people. If I feel like if I want their opinion, they should get the whole thing. But then sometimes we get Adam Coles, and then people get angry at him, and they really don't need to be angry at him because he was being goofy. I don't know if you're a wrestling fan. He was quoting Kurt Angle at times, guys. Come on, seriously.
Classic heel heat.
He got pure heel heat. And if you fell for it, I love you, but you fell for it. He didn't break kayfabe once. Excuse me, I'm a little built up. I think I'm starting to develop this nasty plant pollen allergy that people get all the time. It's really obnoxious. How do you guys deal with this? Next up, though, got to get the paper, got to get the pad. Oh, put a stamp on it. Chris Stockhouse has a question, folks.
Rock on.
How many times do I have to treat the lab to dinner at Origins to make up for all the great content and advice and my arm that you give me throughout the years? Do we think what if was supposed to be a tournament set like last year, like years past, but the poor performance of Civil War last year changed their outlook towards those summer OP series sets? If there's a chance, I don't want to say for sure that that's the decision they made based on the decision or on the result of Civil War. I think Civil War was an overreach on the things, and I think if they were to go back to Age of Ultron
War of Light.
Age of Ultron / War of Light, there we go, thank you. They'd be a little bit more successful, especially with the size of the sets being smaller. Run it for like 2 weeks because we have a Dormammu, and for Marvel we have the Deadpool jet or something like
Merc
that.
Jet or some
Merc
nonsense.
Jet. Yeah. Some silly stuff, which is fine. We have 2 events. That's great. WizKit suggests sealed. I don't know if that's going to be a possibility because of the way we buy things, and this set is going to be retail. In the States, I don't know how it goes down, but around here, our stores usually buy the product, sell the product, and then we don't have the product on the shelves depending on the store that you go to. I know that's how it works at Comic Warehouse, and we're all crazy. Buy the product up, eat it, devour it, chow it down, and then that's it. It's gone. Right? So I don't know. I think 401 Games is a little bit of a better deal with the distributor, and they can kind of recoup everything. But people do get tired of sealed, especially because this game is not cheap for sealed. It's one of my comments. I'm starting to love sealed because the sets that they're making have been really good in sealed lately. Avengers Defenders War was probably one of the best sealed sets I've ever played in. Some people will argue with me. You're allowed to. That's up to you. The fact that you're playing with pure trash and have to work with it is actually a good mark of the sealed set because everybody is complaining about sealed trash. Anyway, I'm on a tangent. I do feel that by making it a retail set, they've actually devalued the idea of sealed for it. And as a result, I hope that they've made the option for stores not to run it sealed because of the way we purchase clicks as consumers. I've talked at length, Tom. Anything you want to get through my
Well, first of all, you don't have to buy us anything. You've been commenting on our videos consistently for years. I think if it goes in any direction, we owe you.
But I love booze. Just saying.
Yeah, so do I. We all do. As far as the fair.
Amber chimes in. She's gonna be here.
As far as the whether or not it was going to be a summer OP set, it's hard to say, really. I guess I can't. I don't know. I don't know if I have a. I'll express my opinion, which is that I'm glad it's not. I prefer them to be sets where I can just buy into it and then continue to play regularly. Unless the monthly OP thing is really fun and neat, which has happened like almost never. I'm generally more of a fan of traditional set releases. So that's my opinion on the matter.
Mm-hmm. Jay?
It's possible with the smaller set sizes and the fact that they are kind of running it as a tournament set with the whole encourage supposed to do it with the colossals or whatever. But yeah, it is a little weird to do a full retail release, but then to encourage sealed when if you collect everything, you have no incentive to try and, like if you already have the whole set, you might be better off just going secondary market and not just wait, buying more packs to not necessarily even win, right? Jason 100%'s everything, so why would he want to go for sealed necessarily? So
anyway, here's the big problem. Here's the big problem as Canadians when it comes to sealed. Packs on average, depending on the store we go to, cost $15 per pack. $15 times 2, that's $30 in sealed. Now we have 4 of these events in total if you include What If and Elseworlds, so times 4, it's $120. Now I have a wife who plays with me. It's going to cost me $240. Ouch. The big scale is Heroclix as this game is very expensive when it comes to the sealed product, and it's painful to have to bite that on a regular basis. It costs us $30 to play sealed in this game. Oh my gosh. And it costs us $40 at Worlds. Or at Nationals, rather. So, think in those numbers for us. When it's like, oh, seal's not that. Oh my gosh, seal's expensive. It's not cheap when you consider like any other collectible game is about $15 to play in a sealed environment, or or $20 if it's like a sealed big event. I don't know. I think it's actually $30 for a full blown sealed. It's 6 packs of Magic, but you get 6 packs of Magic cards. That means you get 6 rares, the possibility of mythics in there, which is our equivalent of chases, guys. The numbers are crazy. The numbers are bonkers. So, yeah, I think they're starting to see that effect on players, and going a long term on that, it's a little painful. All right, next up, Michael Fedor has a question that I've been saving for a little bit because I was trying to keep a secret, but we're gonna blow the lid on it. And thank you guys for keeping that secret. Hey guys, would you agree with me out there? There's a lack of synchronization between the latest sets that have come out. In the sealed tournaments I've played, I'm having a hard time dialing up the pieces together with Outwit or Perplex. I don't think synchronicity between 2 sets has really been a priority in WizKids End. I'm not going to lie. We kind of develop our own synchronization between sets. But different sets do operate differently. Deadpool did have a ton of probability control, whereas Outwit is a little bit more common in this set, but also got to deal with some stealth. There's rigmarole all over the place. That's why when we get into constructed, the combinations kind of occur on their own, oftentimes without sealed in mind. But it's the second question. He wants to know: is it too early to think about Married with Clicks team attending Worlds? Tom, are you going to Worlds?
I'll be there.
You'll be there. Cool. Jay, are you going to be at Worlds?
Yep.
Hey, Jason, for the past couple of weeks, you've been saying you're not going to be at Worlds. Are you going to be at Worlds? Well, guess what, guys? Some things have changed. I'm going to make it to Worlds this year. And now I regret the way I played at Nationals. Because the way I played at Nationals was based 100% on the fact that I wasn't coming to Worlds. Now I'm kicking myself in the butt, and now I got to work extra hard at Worlds, but that's okay. I am really looking forward to it. I'm going to be at Worlds, guys. I was going to try to keep you secret. I'm going to do a whole thing with me having a bag over my head when I show up, which would do a lot of people a lot of good anyway, so I might just show up with a bag over my head anyway. I was going to stage this whole kidnapping and everything. It was going to be great, but I changed my mind. I'm coming to Worlds, guys. Hey! Secret's out. Secret's out. So myself and Amber will be in attendance at Origins Games Fair this year at the Whiz Kids World Championships. Now, guys, how's that working? Well, you say, well, let's share a little bit of details because we're going, and let's share some of the details as they stand. Those of you going, because it's kind of one of those things you need to know. World Championships, we had amazing games. The U.S. National Championships will be there. If you're qualified for the U.S. National Championships through a WKO, boom, here you go. And you get some cool prizes for U.S. National Championships. If you get in the top 16, you get all the bystander tokens. Also, if you're in the top half of the tournament, they're doing this new qualification point system for Worlds itself. So if you're in the top 50% of U.S. nationals this time around, you get your 8 Heroclix qualification points. You know what 8 Heroclix qualification points is? Qualification in the Worlds. If you're in the top 16, you get the Con LE bystander tokens. If you're in the top 8, you get the bystander tokens and all of the purchasable figures, except for Doomsday. Doomsday doesn't seem to be in attendance for Worlds this year. We win. We're Canadian. In the top 4, you also get the winnable individual con exclusive figures, along with the Bibles, along with the bystander tokens, along with, I'm hoping, the top half being in the 8 qualification points. Top 2 will also add an Avengers Defenders War chase set, and the winner also gets their 2018 national qualifications, along with a Avengers Defenders War factory set, in addition to everything I just said beforehand. If you happen to be playing, we're Heroclix, we don't care about this. Individual qualifiers. The way they're running it this time is an 8-player grinder on the Wednesday and the Thursday between 2 and 8 p.m. each day. The way you qualify is you get into an 8-player grinder in a single elimination. There's $12 entry fee. It's 300 points constructed. As well, it's single elimination, like I said. The winner of it gets 8 qualification points, which is instant qualification into Worlds. If you win an 8-player single elimination grinder. If you get second place, you get 4 points, which is half the points you need. But you also, all of these, the winner gets a Con LE figure, the second place player gets a Con LE figure, and the third and fourth place players also get Con LE figures. But the third and fourth, sorry, you're out of luck. Go get in another grinder. You're out. Time to try again. They'll give me another $12. So the winner and the top 2, and the winner gets in. Second place gets 4 points, but you carry on. If you get second place again, you're in. Or if you get first place, you're in. So yeah, you need 8 of these qualification points. Sounds like these are going to get pretty hectic pretty quick. World Champions itself is going to be. There is the Singles World's Heroclix Championships, which is its own thing, and then there is the Team World Championship. And I also noticed, guys, this time around, everything is tripling up. They're no longer giving us individuals of each of these things. They're giving us 3. So each member of the team in Team Worlds will now get their piece of the prize. We no longer have to do that stupid draft thing we did last year.
Oh, yeah. That's cool. Neat.
All right. But, of course, in the Worlds, if you qualify for that, if you're in the top 32, you get bystander tokens. If you're top 16, you get the Bibles along with the bystander tokens. If you're top 8, you get the Bibles, the Con LE tokens, and the winnables. Also, the Bibles are not including Doomsday. Top 4 gets a Avengers Defenders War chase set. The top 2 get a Deadpool factory set on top of the Avengers War chase set. And then the winner gets Avengers Defenders War factory set, the qualification, and the design a Heroclix figure. Woof. Now, for Team Worlds event schedule, let's go to that. So the Wednesday, throughout the whole thing, you're running your qualifiers between 2 and 8. On the Thursday, again, qualifiers are between 2 and 8. U.S. National Championship starts at 10 a.m. on the Thursday. So think about that when it comes to things. As well, team championships, how does that work this time around? I can't find it.
It's all on Saturday, I think.
It's all on the Saturday. Okay, so Team World Championship is on the Saturday. That's it, eh? There's one chance to get in on Team Worlds. That's it this year. There's no qualification.
There's no qualifier this year. Yeah.
Doesn't look like it.
I think there's a team qualify.
Saturday, Team World Championship.
I thought I said team qualifier somewhere.
I'm not.
No, I guess not.
All right. Oh boy. Oh, and Heroclix World Championship is on the Friday.
Mhm.
Also worth noting. So you have like the Wednesday and Thursday, you're grinding to get in on the Friday. And then the Saturday will be teams, which is great. There is no conflicts now.
Yep, that's the way to do it.
That is absolutely beautiful. I love it. I love it, Wiz Kids. You nailed it this year.
Nice.
Totally nailed it this year. Wow. I think my biggest concern is how they plan on organizing the 8-man grinders. But obviously, myself, Tom, I think you're in on those too, right?
Which ones? The grinders?
Yeah, the grinders, the 8-man grinders.
Yeah.
Jay, you got a qualification from a WKO or when you got in the top
I
two?
technically would have qualified twice, so yes, I qualified for US Nats.
So you're qualified for
Because-
US Nats. Are you going to play in that and try to get in that top half so that you can get your 8 points to go into Worlds?
Yeah, I'm not going to have time to do a grinder on the Wednesday, so I'm going to have to see what happens on Thursday and then continue from there.
All right. So we're going to have the lightning round through the chat because we're getting close to midnight here, and there's still a couple questions to go through. So, ready, guys? All right.
Yes.
Michael Fancher asks, question, best support piece in the meta today? Tom.
Support piece overall?
Best support piece, yeah. In the meta.
75-point Goblin King.
Jay.
I'm going to go with Steve again.
Oh, the Steve
Steve.
Rogers. Yeah. Actually, I'm kind of in the same boat as the Goblin. The 75-point Goblin is a pretty good answer. Him or Dr. Strange are really good. But yeah, wow, good answer, Tom.
Thank you.
Oof. All right. Next up, William McMillan. What Avengers Defenders War chase is your favorite? Yay, Tom is back. Chase. My favorite chase is Ironheart. I love it. 25 points. Shouldn't live that long. Tom.
It's obviously World Breaker.
Yeah, of course. Jay.
Obviously, World Breaker.
God,
Was there
I'm
ever
talking
any
about
doubt?
the metagame.
Just the best.
Talk about your favorite.
Oh, meta?
My God,
My
man.
first?
It's the meta
Oh.
lab. What the hell's the matter with you,
Still World Breaker.
Ah.
I don't care. It's always World Breaker.
Tom? If you don't play World Breaker and Worlds, you're officially fired. No, I'm just kidding.
Well,
Don't
then it'll break me. So there you go.
Competitively, I like the Samantha Wilson. I think there's something there that can get used.
Awesome.
theoretically.
All right. Nathaniel White wants to know how much Mike had to drink before he made those statements. Absolutely nothing. Mike does not drink. How about that?
That's right. That's all, Mike.
Dennis Flora wants to know, what do you guys think of the What If set? I love it. I love the idea of What If comics as sets. Tom?
Concept I like, although so far the execution is batting a solid 80% for me, because I find that some of the What Ifs aren't as far removed as they could be from their regular universe counterparts, and there's an awful lot of just regular universe characters kind of muddy the waters. So execution is meh.
All right. Jay?
I basically agree with Tom. I don't know what why they're regular characters in this set. Get out of here. We don't want you
I
here.
don't want your type here.
I think ultimately, guys, the biggest thing about the regular characters being the set is that, like, 10th anniversary, they have to kind of throw in that old school throwback stuff. And, they also have that, hey, this is the alternate version, switches into that. They need something to do that with. And that's why we ended up with the classic figures. But they're not necessarily classic versions of them if you actually look at the way that they're being represented. They are What If versions of them, that Daredevil is the aid to Foggy Nelson in the What If comics. The problem is that sometimes What If is a little weak on what you can pull from it. I'm still a little disappointed that I have yet to see Professor X as Ghost Rider.
I don't think that was real.
That was a real What If comic. I'm not sure if it's a real figure.
Yeah.
But they,
No. I thought that was made up. Was that an actual?
That's an
I thought
actual
that was-
What If comic. The 90s
Oh, I thought
were
that was
weird.
just like a Photoshop. That's amazing.
The 90s were weird, man.
Wow.
All right.
I actually remember I saw that happen. I was playing in the Infinity Gauntlet days. Somebody used Hypersonic on Professor X. It was hilarious.
All right, next up, Nathaniel White. Tom, where are the charts? You're
I
missing the-
know. I'm so
All right.
behind.
Next week, your homework. We need X-Force in the Deadpool.
I
and
know.
Avengers Defenders War charts.
Oh Christ! Like I am most of the way through X-Force and Deadpool at this point. Admittedly, I'm not finished yet, but I'm very close. As for Avengers Defenders, I haven't even started on that one yet. I know. I got to get on it.
All right. So next week, our homework now is to talk about what we're going to miss and what we're not going to miss from the meta
sure.
leaving. And then Tom's got to pull up some charts, bruh.
At least the
Charts
first set. I can't get 2 sets in 1 week, but yeah. We'll see.
You need an info dump, Tom. Let me know.
Apparently.
All right. Fabrizio Granados wants to know best what if Elseworlds piece not being Goblin Jakeem and biggest. We haven't even seen the whole set yet. Give us a break. Ask that question when we have the entire set in front of us. All right. Jackson Agar, what Shredders and what other figures do you play on the Shredders team? Shredder clone with the sideline octopus Shredder if you happen to have that. If you don't, get a little bit more creative. I think the forearm Shredder is pretty solid. But also Claw Shredder is really good too. Both are really good options depending on what you need out of them. Although I would lean more towards the forearm Shredder myself. Always get the mini Shredder.
Yeah, I was say it's Shredder clone first, mini Shredder second, then do whatever your wallet permits.
Yeah, absolutely. And what other figures do you play on the Shredder team? I usually play Renatilli just because get them there, move them, go. You're awesome, right? Jay, anything you want to throw on there?
I think you pretty much have it, although I kind of like the idea of Overdrive to actually get some more damage output with his Empower.
Yeah, it's also an option too. Can't argue with that. All right. That said, made it. Lightning round. Done.
Nice.
Good job, guys. Been a
Well
wonderful evening. All right. But with that said, guys, we are brought to you in part by MajesticCCG.com, home of the Apex Insiders. $2 a month gets you access to some of the awesome minds of the game of Heroclix. Jay is one of the regular contributors. I swear one day I will become a contributor again once I figured out my life. I've been trying to mind dump myself onto paper, and I am terrible at it. I might just use talk to text soon just to resort to it. Amber's been writing some stuff too. But MajesticCCG.com/Apex-Insiders. $3 a month. Access great minds. Great minds. Beautiful minds, even, of the Heroclix game. As well, we're also brought to you in part by HCRealms.com. Your one-stop source for all things Heroclix. Use the unit section to track your collection. Use the forums to find out what people are talking about. While you're there, also put in the shop. Put in the coupon code MARRIED for 10% off your purchase. A little bit goes to kick us back as well. If you want to support us directly, patreon.com/marriedwithclicks, or turn off ad block, guys. That also helps to directly support us as well. But without further ado, guys, it's been a great time at Nationals. We got Worlds around the corner. We need to make our teams better. And what do we do to make our teams better? We practice. Because practice
makes
your
team
better.
Beautiful. All hail the Goblin King. Wait, you got the wrong Goblin King. You missed it. You're fired.
Oh. A new era is upon us.
I, for one, worship a different Goblin King.
Go ahead. Show it. Yes.
He's glorious.
Yeah.
Reminds me of the babe.
Pick 3 powers.
But one of them's always a bulge. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.